Hello, I'm Tommy Moore from the Bartitsu lab, and in this particular session we're going to be looking at using our heads or getting the nut in. Now obviously in Bartitsu we're using pugilism for self-defense, we're using boxing, but we can't just stick to the academic or the ring-based boxing of the time. We need to make sure that it's fit for purpose for street self-defense. Often in fighting encounters we end up closer than we'd like to an opponent, whether by choice or by accident, and sometimes that means you have to reduce to grappling, or we have to use different weapons. We have to use our elbows, we have to use our thumbs, we have to use our head. In this picture session we're going to look at how we can integrate headbutts into our boxing to make sure that we are safe at the right ranges, that we're causing the most damage, injury and success at those ranges. So without further ado, I'm going to quickly recap on the anatomy of a good headbutt. Now importantly, using the hard forward part of your forehead, so the upper forehead, making sure that you use your back and your neck muscles when you're exploding with the head. And the best advice I've seen for this is treat it like a vicious sneeze. So make sure when we're doing the headbutt, we use our legs, we use our shoulders, we use our hips, we drive forward, head down, chin down. We want to make sure that we're targeting eye level downwards on our opponent, so nose and chin preferably, so anywhere along that jawline or on the nose line. We don't want to be headbutting their head, and we want to make sure that we recover into a position where we can keep on fighting, so we explode downwards. Now there are a couple of different techniques that you've seen in other videos. So there's a straight downwards headbutt, or if I'm already down, there's a drive upwards. So a down or a drive up if I'm a smaller opponent. Two ways to use the headbutt. If you want, go recap on those videos and then come back to this one. But I'm going to show you how you can integrate your striking arts with headbutts. You might have seen martial arts such as Left Way do this really well, which is essentially Thai boxing with headbutts. It really changes the game over what you can do and what you can't do up close. So it's really good to get on the front foot of this. It's a very common HAPV, habitual acts of physical violence, so people instinctively know how to headbutt and will use headbutts against you, so you may as well learn them yourselves, make the best use of them to give yourself a tactical advantage. Okay, so the first combination we're going to look at, we're going to throw a tight uppercut to the body to bring the head down. We're going to throw an uppercut to the jaw to lift the head up, so we're bringing the body to make them do this, we're hitting the jaw to lift the head, and then we're striking with the headbutt ourselves. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, making sure we get back to our fighting posture. Back to our fighting posture. So again, we're building in a tactical use of the headbutt here. We're hitting to the body to bring their midriff in. We're hitting to the jaw to lift their head up, to loosen their neck muscles, so that we do drop that headbutt in, it causes maximum damage, it causes maximum knockout potential. So uppercut to the body, uppercut to the jaw, headbutt to the jaw. Again, nice easy combination to remember, easy to deploy, and if you're in uppercut range anyway, you're close enough to be using the head, and you can often catch people by surprise. Next one we'll be looking at will be the simple jab, cross, headbutt. But what we're going to do, we're going to shrink the range here, so the jab's going to be very long. The cross we're going to move closer, and the head we're going to move closer still. So this is a great example of us using kazushi, so disruption, and tsukiri, entering to do our koke, to finish the technique. So when I throw the jab, I'm looking to disrupt you, I'm looking to distract you, confuse your mind. If I hit you, brilliant. If not, I'm just covering distance anyway. So I'm launching that jab or that lead off. I'm getting a bit closer, and I want to land that cross with some venom, some power. So I've caused disruption, kazushi, with that jab. I've entered tsukiri with that cross, and my kake is the headbutt. I'm now in a range where I can apply my jiu-jitsu, my grabs, my throws, my locks, my holds, everything grappling orientated. This is a great combination if you're primarily a grappler and you want to cover that distance. Long jab, then we're going to step, using a passing step for that cross, and then we're going to fire the headbutt. Okay, so we're going from a long range to short range where I can apply my grappling. So from here, long range, shorter range, headbutt. Long range, shorter range. Notice the passing step, so I'm stepping as I throw the cross because it's a short cross, allowing me to throw the headbutt. So So again, we're compressing the range, we're dictating the range, long range, medium range with the passing step, finally the hard headbutt. And again, if you're smaller than the opponent, you might drive it up. If you're bigger or equal size, drive it down, drop the nut in. Okay. Next of these particular headbutt ones, we're going to be doing a palm heel. So we're going to do palm with our left hand. So we call this musette. There are versions in Japanese jiu-jitsu and all sorts of pieces, but we'll use the savate version of the musette. Drive using the hard bit of the palm up into the face. Our rear hand, we're going to step closer, driving that elbow. And as I say, with this elbow, it could be the forearm, could be the elbow itself that hits. You never really know because you're compressing range. Then I drop the headbutt in. I'm keeping the elbow relatively square because I'm also using this as a frame, holding this at ideal distance for me to drop the headbutt in. So in this one, I launch the musette, I drive in the elbow slash forearm, but making that frame, that strong distance making device. Then I drop the nut in, then I'm off. Okay? And here, musette. Now again, musette can come from far away, or it can come from up close. I'm going for like a middle distance here. And then straight back off. So at speed, straight back off. So in that distance, we're feeling out with a relatively safe palm heel strike, because maybe we're surprised, we're just instinctively launching that palm heel strike because we know even if we hit the wrong bit of the head, it's not majorly damaging for your hands. So we launch that, we step a bit closer, and we drive that elbow slash forearm typically into the throat. That extends the neck, which allows us to drop the forearm in. So as soon as that's in, another device of the frame is it holds the head up a bit looser, making the headbutt a lot more effective. Okay. Then what we'll be looking at is the pivot blow to headbutt to elbow. So in this, we're going to go from right to left. So with our left hand, we're going to fire a pivot blow, which is a sideways hammer fist. And that can hit to the face, or it can be knocking guards down. Really depends on the range. So from our guard, we raise our elbow to keep ourselves safe. We launch our pivot blow. Then we drive the headbutt in, and then we step with our right leg and do the right elbow. Okay? What I'm doing really here is clearing the guard, headbutting once the guard's gone, and then finishing with the elbow here. So if you look at it like so, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. By turning with the elbow, I step myself off on an angle. Okay, so from here, 1, 2, 3. That means I'm slightly angled off the opponent. What I do next is likely to catch him by surprise and catch him from an angle which causes him maximum disadvantage. So, pivot blow, headbutt, elbow. I'll do that at speed. So again, we're using our bare knuckle boxing pivot blows. We're getting the nut in just as the opponent is disarmed, either by the strike or the knockdown. And then to finish, we're driving that elbow in. So again, we can use headbutts to end a combination or mid combination. Rarely do you start a combination with a headbutt, but if you do, bear in mind that multiple headbutts are very hard to land. So you might land one, then you might want to be stepping off to land an artillery. So I'll give you an example. If I'm starting a combination with a headbutt, let's say I'm already this close, I'll drive it in this way, push and hold that as a posting technique, then drive that cross. So again, you can start with them, although it's relatively rare. They're typically used at the end of a combination or the middle of a combination. But the whole point of the video is get used to mixing up headbutts in your pugilism. So as your combination, 1, 2, headbutt, uppercut, uppercut, headbutt, you know, hook, headbutt, hook. There are so many ways to use it. Also as a precursor to your jiu-jitsu. So we enter a grapple, I headbutt, then I do my taetoshi, my agoshi, whatever I want to do. You know, I can use that to cause pain and disruption pre-throw. So get used to using them during striking range, in the middle, the beginning and the end, and also at grappling range, typically pre the use of a throw or a lock. So hopefully you found that useful. I'll just recap quickly. Uppercut body, uppercut head, headbutt. We've got lead off, passing step cross, headbutt. We've got palm, elbow, keep the frame, headbutt. And we have got pivot blow, headbutt, elbow. Hopefully you found this useful. Give them a play. Make sure you practice with focus mitts, against bags, against bob dummies. Build up your resistance to it, making sure your chin's down, using the hard bit of your head at a vulnerable point on your opponent's face. I've been Tommy Moore from the Bartitsu Lab. Thank you.